Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and GoBots, issue number 1. Yes, this is going to be an ongoing, and it's by Tom Scioli. Yeah, that's it. No, that's it. Nobody else. Just him. That's it. Story, art, letters, Tom Scioli. Yeah, he did everything on here. Bunch of different other comic book covers by a few other people, but even the cover, man, the main cover, cover A, that's him. So this was a weird comic book. If you look at the art inside, it kind of plays out, and it's definitely drawn very similar to the way that Ed Piskor would draw and write. If you've seen the what the hell are they? The X-Men, the X-Men things. Can't remember what they're actually called right now, but he did. Look up Ed Piskor X-Men. Boom, you're there. And this is very similar to his art style. I can't say I've ever read anything by Tom before, but I may have, and I just forgot. Anyway, all of this is, he doesn't take a whole lot of time doing a bunch of really intricate or elaborate stories on this, which I'm okay with. You basically just have the 6 main GoBots from back in the day. On the Renegade side, you got Psykill, I think his name was Copter. I don't remember. Buzzkill, maybe his name was. I don't know. And then I think it was Copter. Anyway, and then you have Crasher. And I don't even think they said Crasher's name in this one. Not that important. And on the good guy side, the heck were they called? Whatever, the good guy GoBots. There was Leader 1, of course, who was the only really cool one. Turbo was supposed to be cool, but he was second. And then Scooter, who everybody wanted Scooter, but they would have turned off his voice because, oh my god, he had the most annoying voice in the world in the cartoon. Nobody liked his stupid freaking voice. Anyhow, so these guys show up. They're basically created by humans, and they're chasing each other and whatnot. And just pay attention there. I'm probably not going to remember to go back to his face again. But Psykill, by they, I mean he. Tom does the face on there, as he's driving. And I know that's the way that the toy looked and whatnot. I had the toy, but for crying out loud, man, like you can't. One of the scariest sights I'd seen when I was a kid by watching cartoons was the first time that we saw a Psykill roll up on a bunch of humans, and he was a gigantic motorcycle at this moment. He rolled up, and his face is right there, and he's like, I'm going to take you guys down. It was something like that. Think about that. Names like Psykill. That wasn't like Megatron or Shockwave or Starscream or anything like that, It wasn't any threatening. Psykill. What? I knew this dude who was the lead guitarist. Like, I actually knew him pretty well back in the day when I was going to DeVry. He was fronting a band called Spin Psykill. And that's all I could ever think of was Psykill from the GoBots at the time. But, like, it's such a violent freaking name, But the show itself, it was, I don't know, it was what it was. In here, it takes a very similar approach to that, where you've literally just got all these robots doing their own thing. They were the GoBots. Their G chip, whatever it is. There's no real explanation for anything in here. There's something called like a G chip or something like that keeps them civil. That keeps the GoBots civil, and anybody can. I don't know, are you assigned a GoBot? Do you buy a GoBot? I don't know. But the Renegades were like, we're not going to listen to the freaking, humans anymore. We're going on our own. We're going to live in the desert. And that actually kind of sounds like, I can't remember the name of the place, but there's one place in California where you can just go and squat there. It's like there are no rules. Somebody could just walk right up and shoot you in the head out there. You can't really get in trouble, especially if there are no witnesses, But you can't really get in trouble because it's a very lawless land. There are no cops there, But anyway, that's kind of what this felt like what they were going towards. They're going to have their own lawless area where they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do, including hurt humans if they so choose. Like that's what Crasher did at one point. Like, oh, she had a beautiful voice. Yeah, Crasher had an awesome voice. I fell in love with her voice. Like, I was very attracted to her voice when I was a kid. Big freaking, freaky looking GoBot and whatnot, but looked pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the voice. I was like 7. Anyhow, this just, it takes a very extremely bare bones basic take on the GoBots, which again is fine because normally I would say this wasn't that good, but it just worked so well because the whole things was just a stripped down operation of here's the story, here are these characters who you know and love from back in the day or hated, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, this is them. Take them at your leisure. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good because it was consistent, We didn't go into anything elaborate into this. There wasn't any grand high design here. There wasn't any, okay, it's the battle of the century. This is the true challenge of the GoBots. No, it's just like, oh, yeah, they're owned by humans. How? Who cares? Who can afford a GoBot? But here you go, and yeah, and they're all, and then these guys are bad. Their chip has been malfunctioned and stuff like. They're breaking the Asimov rule. Just yeah. So it just, since it was consistent, it just worked. That this is just a good story to sit down and enjoy. I would definitely recommend this. And let's be realistic. I know a lot of people are giving really high praise for the comic book. To me, it wasn't high praiseworthy. There was nothing special about this book except the characters themselves. But in fact, to me, the most impressive part about this was that one person did everything in this. Again, like the Ed Piskor books, what do you call it? So these, I don't know. It was fun. It was fun reading these. Different versions of these characters, but that's okay. No, for the most part, nobody can really tell me I don't think so, can really tell me what exactly the old cartoon was all about, right? Anyway, for me, this does bring a lot of flash, and the rest of this, I'm not talking about the comic book anymore. Not really. For me, this was fun. I like the idea of having the GoBots showed up because, yeah, I was a kid when these things showed up, and there was we were all waiting for the Transformers to show up. That was supposed to be the big thing. They're advertising the Transformers are coming. Ooh, it's going to be good. And then all of a sudden, these GoBots just came out of nowhere. Like, is this what they were talking about? Because GoBots isn't as cool a name as Transformers. Like, where the hell did they come up with a name like GoBots? And I know the history. I remember learning the history, researching and whatnot, and I'm sure you can go and find a YouTube video or 12 about them. And I don't remember all of their names and whatnot, but I do remember all of a sudden these GoBots showed up, and they were really just a really great placeholder for the all intents and purposes. When they first came out, we thought that these guys actually came first because the cartoon came first. But in reality, yeah, no. You go and look up like the Toys That Made Us, the Transformers episode. I think that they talk about the GoBots also. Either way, give more credit to kids than you think that they deserve, because we very quickly realized that these things were not first, not by any stretch of the imagination. First doesn't mean jack anyway. These things showed up, and you could tell by they were all made to be about the same size, even though they absolutely should not be the same size, not by any stretch of the imagination. They weren't paired up and made very even. They weren't the characteristics of the character. They were so bland. The toys didn't, have some great elaborate transformation like the Transformers did. They didn't come with weapons. If you remember the cartoon, they just their fists lit up and then they would fire concussive beams or something. It's like it was all of it. The whole operation just felt so damn cheap, They even do have the one car in here. It's just a car. It's like it's the cab of the car is the head and the chest of the back, and then little tiny spindly arms come out. They had that in there, and I think that was actually the first design that they had for the GoBots. All of it, it just reeks of cheapness, But the GoBots did have a good run at first. Granted, once the Transformers came in, GoBots' days were numbered. Like, they had zero chance against these very well thought up, high concept characters that just came in and blew them away. Anybody read the Transformers comic books where I think it was like 2 or 3 times, I think it was actually 3 times, they had Psykill in the book as a Decepticon, and I think it was always Megatron that killed him at some point. It's like, oh, Psykill, you know, or they call him something to that effect. And it's just the Transformers writers just making fun of the stupid character, you know? It's like, I'm so tired of you, and just give a reason for Megatron to kill somebody. And it was just a running joke that he would show up again, you know? Just for Megatron to have to kill again, to kill him again. He Psy-killed him. But they didn't have everything bad going for them. They did have a couple of good things. The combiners, you know, like Devastator was the first combiner. Actually, I don't remember its name, and you can look it up and figure it out pretty quickly, I'm sure. But the first combiner was actually a GoBot. They had the first one. Those 5 cars that would join up and just, or maybe it was more than that, whatever. It was very intricate in the design. It was pretty damned impressive, you know. I didn't have it, and I never even knew anybody who owned it. You know, like I had Psykill and Leader 1. Those are the only ones I had. I knew a couple guys who had more. My buddy Kenny had everything, all the Transformers, all them effing rich kids. You always hated them, right? Even though he was my best friend growing up. The point is, yeah, man, unacceptable that that most of these were just crappy. But that one combiner, that was actually cool. They even had the first big thing. I forget what it was called, but it was like the car wrecker, the car crusher. It is like a big dinosaur worm thing that would come up and it was supposed to be scary. We just looked at it as like, it's just a bit, you know, at first it was cool, but it's like, it's just a big effing hunk of metal. They tried to sell the toy. If I remember correctly, it didn't sell. Just, you know, like it was nothing compared to Omega Supreme. I saved up and excuse me, that was a birthday. My mom actually got me the Omega Supreme for my birthday. That was, yeah, that was awesome. But I never owned Metroplex or Triptychon or any of the other ones that came out afterwards. No, that's not true. I was able to purchase on my own Scorponok later on, but I never had Fortress Maximus. Disappointing childhood, you know? But no, I actually had a lot of them. I had a whole lot of toys. It was awesome. I had Shockwave. That was my favorite one, just hands down. But anyway, yeah, they had, I don't know. See, even then, the Transformers, there were all these different sizes, right? And they didn't always work. Like, shouldn't Blaster and Soundwave have been the same size? But no, Blaster is, you know, he was this big boombox. And, like, their transformed states were awesome, you know? But then it's like, Blaster was this big and Soundwave was like this big. It's like, that's not right. That's not right. This just doesn't work. Blaster's this big. Optimus Prime is this big. Like, come on now. So none of those worked. None of those were there. None of them were to spec. It was terrible. So yeah, so the GoBots kind of had that going for them also. At least the robots were made to be the same size, you know, approximately the same size. So just, yeah, I don't know, they all had something cool going for them. But yeah, obviously the Transformers completely decimated, like just obliterated, forget decimated, they obliterated the GoBots. But there were some good memories. And then it's like, I saw that this was announced and I'm just like, oh, really? They're actually going to make a GoBots? I hope it's good. And it was. It was. This was a fun book to read. I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? And there's just so much history. And it's failed history, but it's history. And I'm looking forward to seeing the Combiner. I'm looking forward to see the big Junkion thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of these things in the future. Like, these look cool. Oh my God, are we going to have the Rock Lords? All right, you remember the GoBots versus the Rock Lords? I think they were called the Rock Lords. Oh my God, I'm down for seeing those. So anyway, I don't know how good issue 2 will be. I don't know if the enamoring that all these other guys have for it. Like, I feel like it's weird that they're saying, you know, oh my God, this is such high praise. You gotta get this book. My honest opinion, you don't need this book. You don't need this book. This isn't great. You know, this isn't something spectacular that I'm just like, oh my God, it's so good. It's not like that. It's not like that for me at all. But it was a fun book to read. And if you want to have something that's good, that's probably going to wind up being a collectible. Let's just be realistic for a second. This issue will probably be a collectible. I would suggest maybe checking it out. Just saying. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.